So I know I've made it before. This is the Rigatoni Zingaro. I'm going to do it with some spinach as well today. I just got some butter going in some pan, but my wife wanted it for dinner, so I figured I'd make it. But we'll do it with a little bit of twist to have it the way she likes it. And go from there. So just letting the butter heat up, then I'll add the hot peppers. Like I said, I got a little bit of spinach. We'll get the mushrooms in there, sausage and everything else. Pink sauce. Yum. And I got some rigatoni to go with it. So I'm going to start with the hot peppers to get that to diffuse throughout the butter. She likes spicy too, so that's cool. I'm going to get a paper towel to wipe that down real quick. And she loves mushrooms, so I'm going to put in more mushrooms than I typically would as well. And this time I'm going to give them a little bit longer, let them really cook down a good bit. Usually I just sweat them out. I'm going to do even more. I've got some pretty spinach that I picked up. I'm going to make another one that's not spicy after for my son. And I figure it'd be a good excuse to sneak in some extra vegetables that he'll barely notice. Now, I know this will look like a lot, but the spinach really shrinks up when it cooks. So it won't be as much as you think. Forgive all my background noise. I wasn't really planning on videoing, but as long as I'm cooking, I'll get the camera going. It's been really fun. You know, the funny thing is, I haven't made a lot of these dishes in a long time. I think I've mentioned that in some of the other videos. You know, both my son, when we had the restaurant, he was so young, he pretty much would eat pizza, and we used to make garlic knots, and he would get them with no garlic and no butter. He just wanted the bread, which, you know, really we had a great, we made really good pizza, and our dough was from scratch. The only reason I haven't done any of the pizza dough on the videos yet is you really need a good high gluten flour, and it's hard to get them outside of a 50-pound bag, which I really don't need that much. But one of my friends who still owns a restaurant here in town, he told me if I wanted, I could order one. And I'm sure if I just asked him for 5 pounds, he'd probably just give it to me. So we might do some pizza dough too at some point, but that'll be a while down. Anyway, my point is, he didn't eat any of this when we had the restaurant. Now that I've been doing the videos, he's really enjoyed it. He's been eating a lot of it. It's super cool for me. You know, it's nice for me to find things that he enjoys, because he used to be pretty picky. He just doesn't like spicy. So that's what the little pan's for later, but he's got swim practice now. My wife, on the other hand, as you see, so like all of it, you can make any adjustments you want. That's kind of, you know, half of why I'm showing this. The dishes are really good, but if there's an ingredient you don't like or something that you'd rather, really, you can make some changes to it. The basics are the pastas, the sauces, and some of it, you know, like in this, the flavors of the mushrooms of the sausage are really good in it. Even if you don't like mushrooms, you might want to mix a few in just to get that flavor through the sauce, and then throw the mushrooms out if you don't like the actual mushroom. I think it'll still add to the dish overall. Let's get the flame up a little bit higher. I didn't want it too high because I'm using butter, and I don't want it to separate the oil and cream bases too much. But you'll see the spinach will pretty much disappear, even though it looked like a ton as it continues to eat. So similar but opposite, she doesn't like too much sausage, so I have a bunch and he does. So I'm just going to do a little bit for the amount of the other stuff for her dish. And for his, I'll use all the extra. Kind of like how the spinach is looking in here. Gives it a little bit of an extra color that's good. And this time, in the video that I did last time, we used the banana peppers. This time I told her, Lily went to the store, I told her to pick up some hot cherry peppers, because really, I think they match the dish better. I love banana peppers, which is why I wanted to get them last time. But even when I got them, I kind of knew that they're good, but they probably don't match quite right. And I think this goes together better. So typically I'd probably start adding the sauce now, but I really want to cook this down more this time. I want to get those mushrooms to start shrinking and see how those spinach is like beginning to disappear. That's what I wanted to. And give it another 2 or 3 minutes. I already have some pasta made. I'll measure it out. So this is how you measure it out. You just take the bowl that you're going to put it in. Don't fill it all the way, because you're going to, when we add the sauce, it's going to have all that with it. But you add the pasta and cook it with the sauce, and you even can add a little bit of the liquid, the water from the pasta. It gets the starches and the flavor of the pasta in there as well. I know not everybody thinks that way, but that's all part of the dish. So a tiny bit of pasta water towards the end with the pasta really helps to bring it all together. I know a lot of places just put the sauce on top because it looks pretty, but that isn't the right way to do things. I mean, people can do whatever they want. I shouldn't say it that way, but it's better to, as a actual flavor and dish and everything else. And I'm guessing when you go to Italy, they toss it all. At least we went years and years ago. My memory is everything was tossed the same way that we do it. All right, that's looking better. Maybe another minute or two to get it the way I want. Now, pasta's already cooked, so I'm not actually going to cook it. I'm just going to put it in for a couple of seconds. Then I'm going to pour it through a strainer and bring it back. All right. Now I'm going to leave that there for a bit now that it's hot. I'm going to add the marinara and the cream to make our pink sauce. Heat up a little bit more to really cook that through. I know I always talk about it, but I love the smell. So it's like smell-o-vision to me is would be the coolest. Just a little bit of like mist that comes out that brings out the flavor, the smell of whatever's cooking in the background. Mm. And I want to get the pasta in there. Along with a tiny bit of the pasta water. Grab that. Don't need much, just a little. Let that cook together. At least I have the camera in the right spot this time, that I'm not too worried about splashing it. All right, and we'll let that cook for another couple minutes. And then we'll plate it. And you'll see this will be way overflowing as much as it wasn't that much in the plate to begin with. Let the starch get in there, let the water cook through, let it thicken up a bit. Ooh, I'm gonna steal a bite from her before she gets home and I gotta serve it. Shh, don't tell her. Nobody say a word, okay? Get a little bit of sausage. Let's see if I can get a mushroom, a piece of pasta. That's good. You know, I kind of cheat. I know I like the food I make. But you guys try it at home. Let me know what you think. Most of these dishes are pretty easy to do. Bring it over to this one since this hasn't been on. Look, I even have leftovers. Whoop, look at that. So I'll probably put a little parsley and pecorino on top to give it a little bit more color. But let me move this out of the way. See that? Came out great. Oh, and what great timing. She just got home.